Hello. Hello. If there's anybody out there, hello. Sometimes at the beginning of a show, I feel like this space thing that they send out these sounds that they hope will be heard by an alien entity and they'll reply. And so they're waiting for feedback. So I'm just putting out hello, hello, That's my version of seeking aliens on the internet. Is simply to go, hello, hello. Isn't that cool? Hey, Chris and Becky, I hope. And anybody else who's out there, Mr. Chris Alien. All right, with a last name like that, I knew you was an alien. No wonder you responded to my hello, hello. All right. And now it's time to get serious. Hello, Scott. Scott's also an alien. This is working very well. For those that missed it, I said that I was starting the show kind of like this space thing where they send out a message into the universe waiting for aliens to respond. And so I was doing that, waiting for the internet. And it worked extremely well. Immediately, I got two aliens responding. And so, but science for one day. It's time to get into other matters besides science. I don't want to bore y'all with my extensive knowledge of biology, a study of the stars, right? All right. Maybe you guys didn't go to high school and so you're not as well versed as I am. Or maybe you didn't learn how to dissect a rat in your botany class, okay? All right. So I don't want to be the one to like rub in, what a smart guy I am. And you guys don't know any science. Boo hoo, boo hoo. So we'll move away from this technical arena of reaching out into the internet space for aliens, and we'll shift the conversation to the music. All right. So, but a caution, if you're on YouTube, I'm talking to people on Facebook. So excuse me, I'll try to read what they write. Kathy just wrote hi, and Chris wrote Becky is also watching. Um, so because I'm simultaneously podcasting. So I was going to say, I've put that hello out there at the beginning. So it's conceivable that because of time, light, space continuum, that hello will not be received in Boston as quickly as it was received in Tucson. So we may find somebody like Ann Sisler suddenly may make an appearance, or somebody somewhere else. Okay, I'm just warning you in case there's another intrusion, alien intrusion. The dentist. So 2 hours, your mouth is pried open. It used to be they'd have you hold your mouth open. And now they have these things that they keep your mouth open, right? They fit in your mouth between your teeth so you can't close your mouth. And this went on for 2 hours, almost 2 hours. And I thought they filled two cavities. I thought I had four. So I'm leaving the place. And by the way, I spent 3 minutes flirting with the dentist. She's cute. And I want you to know that was absolutely to no avail. But, anyways, so when I get done, you got to pay. You got to pay something. So I'm there. And the young lady says, that's $700. I mean, it must be some mistake, because I had two fillings and and they were X number of dollars. And if you multiply that times two, you don't come up with seven. She said, well, you had more than two. I said, I was there. I ought to know. I was 2 hours. Apparently, they did four or five while I was sitting there, but they're in close proximity. So apparently, I didn't know this was going on. So how was the dentist? Oh, brutal, brutal. I had five fillings. So she did all the top ones. The bottom ones are next. So why do I get so many cavities? I didn't ask her. I was too busy trying to drown out the sound of the drill. This is cute. They didn't charge me enough. They're not done charging me, Mark. Okay. So I get in there and I sit down, and the nice dentist lady, she takes out this Beats. Who does it? Dr. Dre's Beats or something like that. I don't know. And it's a headset, and it's tuned into the television. And what would you like to watch? Well, she's got Jungle Book on, Mowgli. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's cool. I can watch that. So they go ahead and put that set on. I said, will this drown out the sound of the drill? I know it doesn't. It doesn't, because the drill's inside your head and it carries right into you can't drown out. So, but she said, yeah. So I put it on, and I can't really hear anything. I wasn't impressed, but I'm doing my best. I'm watching. And then, so they asked you, what do you want to watch? There you go. And then they lower you. They lower it so all you can see is the ceiling. Why do you ask me what I want to watch when you have no intention of letting me watch it? What kind of BS is that, right? So I'm listening to it and I'm trying to picture what's going on the screen, but I want to be quite frank with you. With the sound of the drill and people standing over me with all kinds of equipment and wrenches and torture devices, I was having a very hard time listening to the beats in my head. And eventually, within that 2 hour period, uh, the beats thing, and this is my big problem with headsets, they begin to hurt. Most headsets sit too tight on your head. And when I invest in headsets, I often look like a professional model hangs from the top. So the pressure is here more than here, but that's really expensive, and I don't have those anymore. And so I often just don't use headsets because eventually they just annoy me. Anyways, I digress. Um, Tell them you want to hear Van Halen. Well, Van Halen, whatever I want to hear, first off, it was a television. Okay. So it's movies, television, it's that kind of thing. They didn't ask me what concert I wanted to listen to. For those of you on YouTube, Mark just said, tell them you want to hear Van Halen. Back to you, back to Facebook. So, and by the way, I was fine with Jungle Book or whatever it's called, Mowgli. It's the most recent version. I'd have been fine with that. But there were two impediments. One, staring at the ceiling instead of the TV. Two, the sound of a drill. And I said to her, this isn't going to help because the drill travels inside your head through your jawbone. And she said, well, if you want to tell yourself that, like I'm making this up. So I'm thinking, well, don't predict a negative event. Let's see what happens. And it was exactly what I said. By the way, I said, whoever invents a drill with a better sound than that sound, white noise. Somebody comes up with a drill, white noise, they're going to make $1 billion because that noise is annoying. And I explained to the dentist, yet again, I did a lot of explaining to her that I try to meditate when this is all going on because there's really nothing else you can do except look at the ceiling or look at their mouths and their eyes as they're staring down at you. Right? So I try to just close my eyes and meditate. But I tell you, that noise made by a dental drill is got to be one of the most obnoxious sounds that you'll find anywhere. And today was no exception. It was just excruciating. But after she finished drilling, she must have built these covers. I don't know what you call them. They're not crowns. I don't know. They put some stuff in to cover up what they just did. And that's not so bad. They crank your mouth open. They screw down something to keep your lip from the whole deal. And then they stick in this thing to suck up moisture, and then anyways, I'm worn out just thinking about it. You said she was cute. Did she get uglier as the session wore on? In a sense, she did. She appeared with these funny glasses with these two things right in the center of them. And I wanted to tell her those aren't the nicest, those aren't the most becoming glasses. She looked like an alien. Not veneers, no. They put porcelain or something. They put some kind of finish once they take out all the decay so that you've got a full tooth. I don't know, compound. I think it's something. Anyway, so thank you for inquiring, Chris, for even remembering that I was going to the dentist. Or maybe I said something this morning during meditation. But anyways, and then I'm on Facebook this morning, and I get a message, a friend request, and it's from a woman, and she's in Chicago, and I don't know her. And I look, I don't see any mutual friends. I asked Ricky, my little brother. I sent him the photo. I said, "Is this a friend of yours or something?" He's like, "No." So I sent a message, said, "Do I know you?" You know, and they sent back this kind of garbled message. Anyways, we were going back and forth. I said, "Well, are you young and cute? Because I'm single and handsome." Don't laugh. I didn't say that actually. I just said, if you're cute and stuff, ba 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 ba, right? So here's the thing. So maybe a 5-minute conversation. Then they asked me for my phone number. I don't care. My phone number's on Facebook. You can just pull it off Facebook. So I gave him a phone number, and I was telling the nurses staff all this stuff because I've been in there so much the last 2 weeks. I'm on a first name basis with Daisy and the other lady, and so I'm telling them about this, and they're like, it's going to be scam. And I said, of course it's going to be. It's either going to be somebody looking for sugar daddy or blah 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 blah. And I said, yeah. And so we were talking, we were sharing stories of these kind of scammers. Anyways, I forgot all about it. I was hearing about 45 minutes ago Facebook Messenger rings. You know how you can call somebody on Messenger. It's how we communicated from Thailand to the States. And it's two African guys, two African men. It's her name's on it, and they're eating. And I flashed them the peace sign, and then I hung up. And then they texted me a couple of times, and then I just blocked them. I know I'm a weirdo, but I love going to the dentist. I love the sound of the drill. For me, it is meditative. Just listening to that whirling, whistling sound drives me into a trance, says Sarah. All right, my first suspicion is you're not weird. You're being funny because you can't be meaning that. If you mean it, then yes, you are a weirdo. Um, Love going to the dentist. That's okay. I mean, there's positive things can happen at the dentist, but meditative, listening to the whirling, whistling sound. I know how to meditate, and I want to tell you that there's nothing peaceful. I absolutely mean it. I was afraid of that. Okay, well, Sarah, you are dead on when you say, I know I'm a weirdo. I mean, if anybody tries to argue with you about you being a weirdo, you feel free to use me as a reference, okay? Just have at it. I'm down with that completely. Rachel doesn't like the sound. Let's go back to the music selection while you're digesting rather, what just happened. So yesterday I did a theme of rain because it was rainy. And so I thought, well, today was sunny. So let's welcome the sun. I didn't get the advantage of it because I got up. I had to do something early in the morning. Then I went to a meeting. Then I went to breakfast with friends. And then I came home and I did some housekeeping. And then I went out and I did some grocery shopping, and then I went to the dentist. That was 2 hours from 1 to 3. And then I came back here and I ate finally and watered my plants, And so I didn't get to enjoy the sun. I like the sun. Sun means bicycling. Not today, not yesterday, not since Monday. So the 3 songs, I think you'll enjoy them. Sunshine, Blue Skies, Cream, Sunshine of Your Love. Not a better song was ever made. It's just for you youngins. There's nothing like the group Cream, and there's nothing like their first album, Disraeli Gears, and there's nothing any better than Sunshine of Your Love. Hair, Let the Sunshine In, and I used the movie version, so you get a little bit of that. And then a classic, You Are My Sunshine, my only sunshine, when you're not near me. You did 10 miles today. Chris, I thought you wanted to be friends, day in and day out. You're just pummeling me and punching me with this, with these bicycle rides. Tomorrow I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna bike. You just wait and see. Sarah, hair, yes. Hair is just like crazy good, right? Sunshine is energy. Love opening up all my blinds and lighting up the house. Everybody should do that. And hair, by the way, if you've never watched Black Boys, as one of the on the movie, White Boys, Black Boys, it's a great 2-song combination. In fact, one time I had a friend of mine. He just got back from Vietnam, and he hadn't heard Hair. He was a black man, and he was Black Power. He had taken his fatigue jacket, his green jacket from the military, and he had painted, he used a marker to paint a black fist and put Black Power over it, right? So he was militant, had an afro. And he's sitting at my house, and I go in the room, and I put on Hair, but I put on that song. I don't know the name of it. Somebody tell me the name. I'll remember it. Don't worry about it. It'll come to me. It's why can't I remember all the songs on the album? All of them. I should know all of them. Do you understand? Is there any of you that if you know it, you don't know all the songs? Anyways, I am a jigaboo, like picking any mau. Wow, and I used to know all the lyrics, and man, anyways, so jigaboo, picking any, and so it's a mocking of racial slurs, right? But he's just hearing the words, and he's turning crimson, man. Dude is, wow. He's like, I can't believe you're playing this. He's ready to go off on me, So I had to play him the whole thing and show him what it was. Sarah, what is the name of the song I'm trying to think of? Why don't they have a list of the songs readily accessible? Here we go. I'm going to, here, Colored Spade. That's it. That's the name of the song. And so imagine you just came back from Nam. You're into Black Power. You're sitting in my bedroom, and all of a sudden,
Colored spade, a nigga, a black nigga, a jungle bunny, jigaboo, coon, bigger than a mau. Uncle Tom, at your mama, little black Sambo, Cotton Dickens, Swamp, Getty, Joke, man, shoe shine boy.
Yeah. So I put that on, And didn't go well at first, but I got him to calm down when I explained the point. Okay, so that's it. It's called Colored Spade. That's the name of the song. So I'm sorry the two of you are so slow. You didn't know. All right. So I didn't call the Sing You songs from the album Hair. I tuned in tonight, 6 o'clock, okay, like I do most nights, with the sincere intention of having a rewarding exchange of thoughts and ideas, creative, entertaining, whatever, that you can generate. Because, like a jury, we say about picking a jury has on average 500 years of experience between them, far better than letting a judge decide a case at a trial. Most judges don't even understand how prejudiced they are, how uptight they are. So don't try a case to a judge. It's a very rare time when you should waive a jury trial and let the judge hear the case. So, um, for the same reason, this community, which right now says there are 7 viewers, so 7 is less than 12, by the way, 12 jurors. So you may not have a combined 500, but we skew older, so we're probably close. Well, here's the thing. If I put out that I'm looking for creative energy, what better place and space to do it than right here where you people are just, you are awash in creativity and sensibilities that you're really, uh, I know you're open to sharing. You may even be enthusiastic about sharing. And this is the thing, man. There's a comment section, and I can't stop you from commenting other than just kicking you off of the podcast by hitting this button and saying remove person. By the way, everybody, we're not going to discuss it because we don't crosstalk. But Rachel has a terrible toothache now, probably because of all the talk about tooth. So I didn't want to think that we weren't aware that she now has a toothache as a result of this insidious discussion about the negative sounds emanating from a drill, which was balanced, as would happen in a community of this sort, where I said there's so much creativity and so much experience, okay, that we were able to incorporate Sarah into the conversation because she was able to bring the yang to our yin. So the yin was ick, ick, that sound, right? And then along comes Sarah with the yang. Like, I dig that sound. I don't just dig it, I look forward to it, right? You're like, eh. The judge knows if the police arrest your client, he must be guilty. And so Mark brings up a point that we face every time we do a criminal trial. Every time we do a criminal trial, one of the discussions that will take place beforehand is, what do we do about people's propensity, inclination to believe a cop because they were raised to believe the cops are good guys? And it's hard for, say, an average white suburban juror in Chicago, Cook County, Illinois, to believe that the cops would frame somebody, torture somebody, lie about somebody. So we're always struggling with, how do you handle that at the trial? I saw a guy handle it one way, and I adopted that when I thought it was helpful. And what he said, so he was arguing to a judge on my case. I had asked him to step in. It was a search where the police said that they pulled my client over for something pretextual and then saw a gun in his gym bag in the back seat. Plain view, gun. You're not allowed to carry a gun in the city of Chicago back then. All right, arrest followed. So I watched Ken, his name was Ken Del Valle, do this suppression hearing. And what he said is, I'm not saying the cop is a bad guy. I'm saying what he did was wrong. So he really distinguished between, just make it clear, I'm not calling the cop an asshole, although we knew the cop was an asshole. He's saying, but what he's doing is wrong. And I used that many times after that in front of a jury, because you don't have a criminal case that you won't have a cop testify to something, okay? And usually it's not something favorable to your client. And so how do you, and one of the ways you have to do it is doing voir dire. Voir dire is the preliminary examination of jurors when they're simply potential jurors before they're selected and paneled and sworn in as jurors. So the voir dire is very important. A lot of lawyers don't even know how to voir dire, but I'm not here to discuss them. So in the voir dire, you're trying to ascertain if somebody, what is the relationship to the police? Do they tend to think that a policeman is more honest or reliable? You just outright ask them. If they say, yeah, then you challenge that. You say, well, what, do you understand that when people walk into this courtroom, do you understand that they all start out on a level playing field? You can't prejudge anybody favorably or unfavorably before they've even testified. All witnesses have a right to be heard. Both sides present their witnesses. After you observe a witness, then it's your job to determine the credibility of that witness based on your personal observations and experience and the answers to the questions posed by both sides. So I'm always having to deal with, and we all try to tell the jury in voir dire, by the way, my client is here because he was arrested. In order to be arrested, the policeman has almost no burden whatsoever. To be indicted is as follows. An indictment is not indicia of guilt. Indictment only ascertains that the jury believed that there was a crime committed and that my client may have been involved in it. And so there you go. So you really want to make sure that when they find out your client was indicted or that there was a preliminary hearing, that's meaningless. At the trial, he's presumed innocent before a word is said. And even after every word's been said, there's a presumption of innocence, and it's always the burden of the state to overcome it. Willie always said there's Charlie. Right? No idea what that means. But that's what happens when we write like that. Trish said the smell when drilling gets to me. That burning smell, that burning teeth smell. If that's the smell, I'm aware of it. I didn't have much of that today. I don't know why, but I sure imagined it because when they're drilling, it sounds like a construction zone in your head. Right? It's all going on inside. It really is traveling up your jawbone to your ears, and you couldn't be more clear, right? So I've often smelled that smell. I don't recall smelling it today. So moving forward from where we were to where we're going, it meant beware. Okay. Thank you. I will be. I hope you understood my thing about voir dire and jury, because Mark kind of threw that in, and I caught it and I ran with it, and I wasn't planning to, and I think I ran pretty good. I feinted right, I went left, and I dodged several tackles along the way. This is your chance to now inquire further. Okay. Scott wants us to know that that's not how it worked with him. The presumed innocence didn't work with him. And by the way, if you're a repeat offender, they can use prior convictions against you to erode the presumption of innocence. And since you were a multiple offender, and because your previous offense resembled in uh, in a number of ways. The new offense, that was probably introduced at some point, either during the trial if you had it, or at sentencing for absolutely sure. It would be brought in at sentencing. So, and I'm not saying the system works, by the way. I'm just telling you what my concern as a defense lawyer. I certainly didn't mean to suggest that everybody sits up and walks into court and thinks to themselves, well, no matter what happens here today, I'm going to presume the defendant is innocent. That's not what I meant. I'm telling you the struggle that a defense lawyer has, knowing that he's going into a trial and that this is one of the uh, psychological elements that we will face and we're aware of, and that we try to thwart it in as quickly as possible, as early as possible, by and it starts with voir diring the jury. That's the first shot we get. All right. So one of the things you always ask is, do you have any relatives that are cops? There's going to be a cop. He's going to testify. You got any relatives that are cops? Yeah. Oh, who? Well, my brother. How you like your brother? Get along? Yeah, he's all right. Do you remember your brother? Has your brother ever lied to you about anything? Did he ever give you the wrong time of day or tell you the wrong weather or anything? Oh, yeah. Oh, so he's a cop, but he's not always infallible. But do you agree with that? Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean, he could be wrong and not even be mean to be wrong or to be mean, right? He's your brother. Sometimes he's been wrong. I'll bet. And I probably treat you like a sister who knows nothing, wouldn't you say? Yeah. So my job is early on in voir dire to identify the prejudices that they may have coming in, and to do what I can to confront the prejudice and turn it around. All right. Well, see you later, Scott. Scott says bye. So bye, Scott. All right. Back to the podcast, Law and Disorder. Wait, that was perfect. Law and Disorder. We just talked about a legal subject, and I thought that I presented a element of a criminal trial. I think I did a very good job of explaining it. I think that fits right in with the theme of law and disorder. So why am I beating that dead horse at the moment by telling you what a good job I had? Is because I'm hoping that as I explained to you that I just did that thematically I am there. What I'm doing is I'm buying time to kind of try to come up with the next subject, right? So I, as I've often done, I take the last subject and kind of elongate it, string it out to the best of my ability as some part of my brain, but it's very hard when I'm talking to think. And you know that from a lot of things I say, it's hard for me to come up with the next topic because I'm running my lips. Now, another way to do it might be to just take a deep breath and tell you, if we're done with that subject, unless you have some questions about that, then I would like to segue into something else. The problem is I took that deep breath and I really did, knocking on wood, whatever. I was really hoping that I would get some inspiration. And with that inspiration, I would go segue right into a new topic that would be, enlightening and edifying, right? It didn't happen. All I got was a deep breath, which I'm grateful for. So today is Thursday, and tomorrow Ricky arrives. My little brother. I don't know. Some of you know Ricky. Some of you don't know Ricky. Some of you will know Ricky. So Ricky will fly in at 10:15 tomorrow night. And then Saturday morning, he's going to stay home while I go bicycle ride my normal, bike ride, unless that gets canceled due to rain. Tell us about your clubs. Well, when my dad passed away, I had a full set of pings, irons, and some woods. I inherited that set of clubs from my dad because he had 3-4 sets of clubs. He'd been playing golf since I don't know when, before he knew me. And so I did have a set, but he died about 25 years ago, And so what I did was I left the clubs at various times. I dragged clubs around, but I left the clubs to my brother-in-law Denny. And I said, Denny, take care of these, but don't sell them. They're mine. I get first dibs on them, right? And he's like, yeah, cool. Now, I meant to ask him for some of my clubs because I wanted to come back here and go out to the driving range and start hitting some balls at the driving range. And I forgot to ask him, or I asked him, and he gave me some kind of line. But I'm going up there sometime this summer, and I'm going to drive up there. And when I get there, I'm going to ask for some of my clubs. I especially want a driver for when I go to the driving range. I want a maybe a five, a wood one. I don't know how they call it. A 5-iron, a 9-iron, and a putter. That's what I need to get started again. So I'm hoping. And my brother-in-law, by the way, my brother-in-law has been a golf nut for a long time. So what he's going to do is he's going to give me clubs, even if he can't give me the ones my dad left. Chris hopes to meet Ricky. The odds of Chris are you will, because he and I usually ride. Now, he didn't bring his bike this time. Last time I drove down and I brought his bike with me, and then he bought a car and he drove it back up and he took his bike. So he's going to have to use one of my bicycles, but he's 5'9", 5'10", and so I'll probably give him the Fuji to ride. All right. I always enjoy when you discuss legal matters. Thank you, Kathy. You know what? I sort of enjoy when I discuss legal matters, and I want to tell you exactly why. It's a subject that I tend to know more about than you do, which means that as long as I keep it honest, it's going to be, I'm telling you something that you don't know. When we talk about feelings or mental conditioning or happiness, these are things everybody has their own personal insights to. And so I can be saying, you know how when we get upset, we tend to, and you can be sitting there going, where does he get that we? He got a mouse in his pocket, right? But when I talk about the law, especially when I'm extrapolating about some element of a trial, which is what I was good at, that you pretty much at that point know to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because I know what I'm talking about, and you generally only know what you saw on television. So it's fun, it's educational, and so I'm happy to do that. And I enjoy discussing it as much as you may enjoy hearing it. I wish I had more legal matters to discuss, but right now, the news is filled with the potential allegations that may come out in an indictment, that may come out in an indictment against Trump or some of his organization. And I said to you the other day that they've gone from conducting only a civil investigation into what is now a criminal investigation. And so I'm hoping that sometime this year, I will be doing a podcast and I'll be explaining to you how Trump came to be indicted, what are the nature of the charges against Trump and his children, what are the penalties for what they're accused of, which venue, are they going to be in a state court, are they going to be in a federal court, have they been charged under state or federal crimes, and will they have conspiracy charges against them? So is a jury based on their emotions? Well, you'd have to ask the jury. Rachel says, is the jury based on their emotions? Again, not. Let me chastise all of y'all. You got to take a moment to craft the sentence in a way that doesn't have me laboring, but I think I get it. A jury, of course, will base part of their verdict in some part on emotions. They're human beings. It's kind of like when people say to me, how can you carry a gun if you're a Buddhist? Because I'm a full person. So if you think I'm going to stop being volatile just because I call myself a Buddhist, Well, you'd be in the wrong venue when you screw with me, because you'll find out, he's a Buddhist and he's volatile. Some people then say, well, you're not really a Buddhist. And then I tell them, go screw yourself. What do you know? Same thing about a juror. If somebody said, well, jurors don't have emotions, I would say, well, that's silly. Go screw yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. So we know that and nobody's asked to not have emotions, by the way. We just ask them to weigh the evidence and to use their own life experience, education, and what they heard at the trial in basing their verdict. I know this. If I were to get busted for anything, I will say nothing and call you. And that would be prudent. This one lawyer in Chicago had a hat, said, nobody talks, everybody walks. I never lost a murder trial where nobody made any kind of statement. And I'm not talking about confessions. I'm talking about just don't make a statement. Just tell the cop, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to answer any questions. I want to see a lawyer. In those cases, I won. I also won one where the guy signed a 5-page confession. I've told you about that one. He signed, said he murdered somebody. He said he shot 5 other people. He signed it. He initialed every page, he initialed every change, and we won that case. He walked out as he deserved to walk out. He was innocent. It was a coerced confession. Anyways, so it's best if you say nothing, but even if you say something, it ain't over till it's over. So, yeah, nobody talks, everybody walks. And never consent to a search. So Chris has learned something. When you get busted, say nothing. Second one is never consent to a search. If you consent to a search, whatever flows from that search is coming in. They find drugs, they find contraband, it's coming in. If you didn't consent, they need a warrant, or they need a reason to not have a warrant. And if they're wrong, when we get to court and we challenge that, then we may get the evidence thrown out. But if it's consent, then there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, you consented, so the contraband comes in. Chris is reminding me that it's time for meta. I agree with him. It is 6:42. If we do this right, we'll end right around 6:45. In order to conduct meta, in case you're new to this, I always assume that somebody has no clue what I'm talking about. Meta, a Pali word, P-A-L-I, language of the Buddha, which means goodwill, kindness, all right? And one of the things we practice here at the end of every podcast is goodwill to all beings, starting with ourselves. So we bring our hands together before our hearts, we bow our heads, and we take a deep breath. We're bowing to acknowledge the good in ourselves. Take a deep breath, relax, and think to ourselves, may I be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May I be free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this daily practice bring me closer to a life of comfort and peace. May my mother and father and all my family and all my friends be happy, be healthy, and free from all harm. May they also find a path that leads them to a life of peace and comfort. May those persons I find difficult, whatever hostilities I may harbor, or whatever resentments, this is the perfect moment, if only for the moment, to let it go. Think of who these persons may be, and think, may they be happy, healthy, free from harm, living their lives now in comfort, peace, and joy. And then to all living beings throughout the universe, humans and non-humans, we send our collective goodwill. May all living beings be happy, healthy, free from harm. May all beings be safe, comfortable, and at peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. All right. Well, thank you, Rachel and Kathy and Joan, who always hangs out in those bushes. Becky says, we taught my nephew when he was a little kid. If you get taken in the police station, just say lawyer. So the show is over. Thank you, Mark and Ann, Kathy, and Becky and Chris. Becky, so there's a Supreme Court case where a minor was taken into custody for questioning and asked for his parents. And his lawyers argued that that should have been the same as an adult asking for a lawyer, because what kid thinks they can hire a lawyer, right? So that for a minor to invoke the Miranda or to combat it is that they would ask for a parent. Went all the way up to Supreme Court, I think in the 50s, and they ruled that either you ask for a lawyer or you don't ask for a lawyer. That a minor, 14, 13-year-old, asking for their parents prior to questioning does not serve the same as asking for a lawyer. So you did right to teach your nephew to ask for a lawyer and not to ask for a parent or anybody else. Ask for a lawyer. Invoke a lawyer. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel and Kathy. Like I said, Mark and Ann and Chris and Becky and everybody else. Joan, anybody else that was snuck in that you didn't check in. Sarah, in case she stuck around, be nice to say goodbye to her. And I'm out of here. I'm gone until you know when. Tomorrow, same time.